Hello, my name is Roger today, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm going to read the daily reflections for September 18th, which happens to be the birthday of the United States Air Force. So I want to congratulate everybody that's still active duty, or anybody that's thinking about becoming active duty, or anybody that's retired from the United States Air Force. I was in the United States Navy for 4 years. And I admire your dedication to this. So good luck with that, and happy birthday, U.S. Air Crews, U.S. Airmen and women. 78th birthday today. So September 18th, 2025. It's called Loved Back to Recovery. Our whole treasured philosophy of self-sufficiency had to be cast aside. This had not been done with old-fashioned willpower. It was instead a matter of developing the willingness to accept these new facts of living. We neither ran nor fought, but except we did, and then we were free. That's from Best of the Grapevine, Volume 1, page 198. I can be free of my old enslaving self. After a while, I recognize and believe in the good within myself. I see that I have been loved back to recovery by my higher power who envelops me. My higher power becomes that source of love and strength that is performing a continuing miracle in me. I am sober, and I am grateful. Period. The end of the reading. I didn't have a lot to say about this one, I think, but like I've made mention of in the past, that if I get rolling on this at all in any direction, whether it's, well, whatever. So something hit me here that I forget exactly where. Well, I know one thing, this treasured philosophy of self-sufficiency had to be cast aside. I don't know if I can make this simple. If you're stranded in the woods or anywhere else, maybe these Air Force guys can back me up on this, that there... maybe there's a slim chance somebody knows you have disappeared, and they're maybe coming to look for you. If you put all your eggs in that basket and just sit still, you've very much limited your chances of survival. I think. I don't know if I can back that up with any documented evidence. If you're, well, wherever you find yourself, where you need to 100%, that's maybe important, rely upon your own self-sufficiency just to survive and make it another couple of hours, 1 more hour, 12 more hours. If you're going to die if you don't rely upon your own self-sufficiency. This kind of situation. Okay, and then there's this, like, alcoholism is what I'm trying to talk about here. And here, I can tie it in with this. I can be free of my old enslaving self. That's the one that's kind of proposing that you can do anything, man. You got this. You don't need their help. You're better than them. You've heard all that, and that's bunk or something like that. And after a while, I recognize and believe in the good within myself. That old enslaving self that for me that kept telling me, you're never going to be able to do that unless you have a drink. For a variety of different reasons I don't want to get into here, because if you know me, I'll just get way off the board. After a while, I recognize and believe in the good within myself. I see that I have been loved back to recovery by my higher power who envelops me. Right there is the thing that your higher power has your back. He's got your six. He's the guy that's watching over you. And I say guy in a non-sexist way. It's just the way I've been talking forever. So please get over that. I mean that entity, the higher power. You know, like this thing too with God as you understand Him. That maybe is a different brand of stuff that I'm not saying it in the way that a lot of people take religion, I guess, or that's the intention behind that phrase, as you understand Him. But there's a critical, practical aspect of that, that even if I thought I understood God, I could be wrong, and it may not be working for you. So however you understand God is going to be better for you than me. And your sponsor is probably going to be better than anything I'm coming up with, if they're any kind of a good sponsor. Anyways, back to this thing, that if I thought I didn't have much to talk about, this thing with free of the old enslaving self, and after a while I can see the good in myself. And the proof, part of the proof of that for me, is that when I gave my fifth step, which might be, I can put it this way, in step 4 I had written down all my bad, wrong things, say, my moral insufficiencies or whatever, just all the wrong crap. And then in step 5 I gave my confession to doing all this stuff. And the person that heard my confession, which was a clergy member at the Veterans Administration, essentially said, well, yeah, that was a load, that was a lot, or whatever she said about quantity. And then she made the point that, but, you know, all this bad stuff, yeah, that happened maybe, and that's in your realm of experience, but you're standing in my office right now telling me all these things, essentially apologizing for this and trying to demonstrate at least one way that you're changing your behavior. I mean, who goes to when I was drunk, I mean, I would have never gone to any authority figure and let them know my, you know, level of inebriation, and then maybe ask them what they think about it. Just use your imagination and, you know, a lot of different things in that area. I would never comp to how messed up I was on anything, or that I had even been engaged in any kind of drug taking or chemical abuse or alcoholism or any of that. Self-sufficiency, right? And so that thing being stranded in the woods, dying, starving, and all that, it's like, man, if nobody's coming for you, you better be able to do something on your own and be a little bit self-sufficient. With alcoholism, at least for me, that reliance upon myself was just digging that hole that I said, or digging the bottom deeper and deeper and deeper. Because, if you know, you've probably heard alcoholism referred to as a chronic progressive disease. So while you're active and drinking, man, the alcohol does an amazing amount of damage to the human body. It's amazing the stuff is even legal. But there's so much money involved in that whole industry, in the United States at least. Yeah, I don't think prohibition's coming back for a while. Who knows, though, man. Anyways, so if you're chronically ingesting this thing that for me I'm an alcoholic. I figured out eventually, after much damage and heavy payments of all kinds of things, that it's basically a poison to me. I have an allergic reaction to alcohol when I ingest it, and it gives me a case of craving more, that even if I ingest more, I just still want more. That's one way of explaining that, at least for me. So it's chronic in that, see, it's Monday and I drink a 12-pack and I feel like that's enough maybe. Tuesday, I drink 12 and I want 6 more, and then I get them, and then I'm able to tolerate that. Then Wednesday I come back at it and I drink 2 12-packs and another 6-pack and feel like I want more. Maybe you can see where this is going. That the chronicness of it, it's doing some kind of damage to my body in at least one way. It's building a tolerance to a poison that might seem on the surface level okay, but it's a voluntary thing that it provides, I don't think, any benefit really, the alcohol. There's you can argue a bunch of things that might make alcohol the right thing. Okay, but you got to remember, I'm an alcoholic. So it's maybe not working in the alcoholic in the way that it would a more average, normal person that is not an alcoholic. So when I gave my 5th step thing to this person, my confession, if you will, to demonstrate that, I've done these horrible things and I feel sorry, and but I'm trying to get my life together, and the people in the club, in the AA place, they keep telling me I need to do this. The 5th step thing, it's in the book. There's a lot of prominence. It's very important to do the 5th step thoroughly and honestly and sincerely. And she looked at me and said, well, that was in the past. That's what alcohol does to a lot of humans. That is all forgivable, essentially. You have some redemptive efforts or qualities, some redemptive qualities in you. Number one, even though you may have been thinking you're this, less than good person, you felt bad for doing bad, so you came here to figure out what to do, and then it's like, you said all that stuff, and I'm telling you that alcoholism will do that to people. She said some stuff like that, whatever, and that just by that amount of demonstration, it's like you're a good person. Now you don't have the alcohol messing that up, and you can continue being a good person, and you don't have much to worry about. In the Bible, Jesus said, "Go forth and sin no more." That's kind of the one way of looking at this, and so I felt relieved, man. I felt so much better after, just because like 8 o'clock in the morning, say, I didn't know what. I thought maybe I was going to leave that office in handcuffs for telling this person all these things that I thought were so bad. And it didn't surprise this person because she knew I was an alcoholic. So there's hope for you too also. That's one thing you can take from that. What I'm trying to demonstrate here, if I haven't meandered along here too far, it's 14 minutes. Our whole treasured philosophy of self-sufficiency had to be cast aside. That's like this thing when you're looking for help, when you need help from a voluntary, enslaving old tyrant of yourself, that thirst for alcoholism, that craving, let's say, because I mentioned that earlier, that when I ingest alcohol, it just sets up a horrible, massive amount of craving. That if let's say I could put a number on that. If today it would be something realistic, 36 beers. 36 12-ounce, 5% by alcohol beers. Because I was getting close to, up in their double-digit numbers all the time, every day, years ago, man, when I drank. And that was years into the drinking, too. I had this tolerance, and man, that is causing some damage to this body, all right? And so anyways, let's say I'm looking to do a 36 beer guzzle or something today. I forget what the freaking point is about this. Being free of the old enslaving self and that hard-driving taskmaster of alcoholism. Oh, let's say I could even ingest that much alcohol. I'm probably going to end up dead of alcohol, acute alcohol poisoning right at the point. Oh, because it was voluntary. That's the point that I was trying to get to. So the self-sufficiency, when there is nobody else but the self, and you need to saw down that tree or get those, gather the dead branches, don't cut down a living tree, and burn those for warmth and to cook your food and purify water, whatever, and there's nobody else. That's self-sufficiency that I don't think you should cast aside, because you'll die, okay? Now, another thing of self-sufficiency is like a guardian of your pride, or it's your ego in operation. It's this sense of self-grandeur, I guess, that I'm better than any of this. I don't need to listen to you, and this is only alcohol, and I'm macho, whatever, and, I can drink tequila with a worm in it, and whatever. So I was saying, let's say we could put a number on this amount that I thought I needed every day, 36, and I did that. It's going to kill me, and it's voluntary, so I can be free of my old enslaving self. After a while, I recognize and believe in the good within myself. Because of this, that I see that I have been loved back to recovery by my higher power who envelops me. That entity is all around me. My higher power becomes the source of love and strength that is performing a continuing miracle in me. I am sober and I am grateful. The continuing miracle is I keep waking up every day. That's part of it. That's a huge big deal. I'm so thankful for that. And I don't have this ferocious hangover, number one. And I don't have this sense of dread of what might be coming down the pike for me today, for what I did the last time I was drinking, which was yesterday and last night, and very likely this morning, and just a sense of dread all the time of being a drunk. It was horrible. But I couldn't seem to get within myself, be self-sufficient enough to overcome the bottle, the alcohol, the thirst, the craving, the addiction, the dependency. I mean, man, alcoholism for me was, it was necessary, I guess. It was inevitable, and it's, what's it say in the big book? I'll call this guy right here, so I use that term loosely, guy. In this guy right here, Alcoholics Anonymous, what people call the big book, it's, I believe in there, in the very beginning, in the squiggly letters, as some people said it, the introduction, or the foreword, somewhere way in the early pages where it's not the number one, they're Roman numerals, that's what I was looking for. I think Dr. Bob said something about, somebody was saying, I forget who, just so maybe, well, you can't hardly erase all that. I'm not going to. It's said by some purported source of authenticity that alcoholism not only is chronic and progressive, I might try and get into that a little more, but is cunning, powerful, and baffling. Okay, so yeah, this thing will shut me off here in another minute, I think. So I'm going to have to hang it up there. Just the self-sufficiency probably is not going to work for you if you're an alcoholic. It might seem to for a while, but remember, alcohol is cunning, powerful and baffling. You know, it won't get me, but then it does. It sneaks up. It's got some move you didn't see coming. And then you're back into the, you know, whatever, ick. I hope to get back with you later. I missed a couple days because I was busy doing stuff that it just had to be done. And you can get on me. That was more important than doing my recovery work at that time in the morning. I'm still sober. Thank God. So keep up the hard work. Congratulations, Air Force people. And goodbye. Well, congratulations to all of you for trying to get sober and being sober. So happy sober birthday. Goodbye.